Let me tell you, before I say anything, I just want to say, whoever's helping her, whoever's coaching her, whoever's the puppet master running the strings, amazing job.
She did a great job.
They did an amazing job from the moment Biden drops out, forcing Biden to drop out. Right, whatever they're doing, whoever's writing those speeches, getting her to deliver them, coaching her, she's nailing it.
During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, he offered some props to Kamala Harris and the way she's been campaigning, and even couldn't stop gushing about her, Cenk.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a declaration about Joe Rogan a little bit later, and that ought to be interesting. But I also want you to know, this is his analysis. It doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna vote for her. But let's give you more first.
All right, so let's watch more of what Rogan had to say and why he thinks that she actually won the debate against Donald Trump.
See, the difference in that debate was not a difference in like who's going to have better policies, who's going to be better for the country. The difference in the debate, in my opinion, was who was better prepared. She was way better prepared. And even when it came to answering tough questions, instead of answering, she would just say things that she believes.
Yeah, sure.
And they sounded real good.
Yeah, that's
the soundbite.
That's called being a savvy politician.
It's also called being someone who's working with a team versus someone who's like,
I don't need.
Said Trump, that deal was the best deal. They've never seen a deal like this before. They said, how did you put that deal together?
People said that was just brilliant. Yeah, I know. He was like,
he's not working with a team that's like, I mean, I know he's doing like mock debates. I know he did one with, I think he did one with Tulsi Gabbard, but someone needs to like tell him, like, you've got these tiny little windows and you should have all the words ready for those windows.
He started
there should be no repeating things.
You know, I actually disagree with Joe Rogan. I think that his campaign managers, I think it's Chris LaCivita, and then there was one other woman, they had been giving Donald Trump excellent advice. And up until the Republican National Convention, he was following that advice and he was really doing well based on the polling. He kind of started to fall apart once Joe Biden was replaced with Kamala Harris. And then there was all this excitement about Kamala Harris and he didn't know how to react or respond to it appropriately. And so he just started attacking her for being a woman, attacking her race, attacking her for allegedly being dumb. And so all of that stuff, I think, ended up working against Donald Trump. And then he decided to double down with insane rumors about Haitians eating cats. Like all of that stuff has only gone to hurt him. And I would venture to say that his campaign managers did not want him to go in that direction.
Oh, of course not. No, the patient zero is Trump. So first I want to clarify here. He never said he's going to vote for Kamala Harris. He never said he supports her. In fact, if you listen carefully, he says whoever's pulling her strings, which is not exactly a compliment, right, is doing a great job. And he said that she didn't answer some of the questions. She just went to a talking point that sounded really good. So his analysis is that she played the political strategy correctly. And then Trump was a knucklehead. And so his critique of Trump is, what are you getting baited for? What, you know, and basically like saying, what's wrong with you? And that is, to me, that's super obvious. You're right, Anna, some portions of his audience will be very upset by it.
Right.
What do you mean it was 3 against 1 and he was the most brilliant debater of all time and he won that, and he won in 2020 and he did cats and dogs. I saw someone eating it the other day, I saw it online.
What about the ABC whistleblower?
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, most Americans actually do agree with Joe Rogan. Morning Consult published a poll today, in fact. And one of the poll questions had to do with the presidential debate, and here's what they found. Roughly 6 out of 10 likely voters who watched the ABC News debate, 61% said the vice president was the winner. Around 1 in 5 Republicans reached the same conclusion. About 33% of likely voters surveyed said that Trump, the GOP nominee, won the showdown. So in other words, the majority of Americans agree that Harris won the debate. And it is something that, you know, some Republican voters and some Trump allies in Congress are very salty about and in denial about.
Yeah, that's about a half a dozen polls, not just that one. They all show similar numbers, all about a 2-to-1 victory for Kamala Harris. By the way, Trump won the first debate in a similar margin, even a little larger margin, and that's because Americans have the thing that partisans don't have, which is eyeballs. We could actually see the debate, and we have ears too. We could hear the debate. And so we know that Biden couldn't speak and was a disaster, and his brain fell out in the middle of the debate. The Democrats were like, no, he's young spring chicken, he's great, he should stay in the race, right? And now the Trump people are like, he was great, he was 3 against 1, and he was heroic. No, his brain fell out. They're eating cats and dogs. They're executing babies. He sounds like an idiot. He refused to prepare. No matter who was coaching him, he won't listen.
Yep.
And then he has the temerity to call Kamala Harris stupid. Well, you're the one who got easily baited into every trap, as Rogan pointed out. So who's the dumbass now, Trump?
So let's go back to Rogan, because I actually was unaware that this was not the first time that he had complimented Kamala Harris. He had done so before, back in August, and this was following Kamala Harris's Atlanta speech after she had already become the new nominee. Rogan said of the speech, giving her kudos, I do have to say that one speech she gave right after they decided she was going to be the nominee, that one speech where she said, if you're going to say something, why don't you say it to my face? It was great timing. And he even brought that up again during his recent episode of the Rogan Experience.
She nailed that one speech. She's like, say it to my face.
Oh, yeah,
everybody's cheering.
Yeah, she nailed it, dude.
Okay, Rogan called it a banger of a speech, but also theorized that Harris has been heavily coached. The vice president has taken some criticism for not doing media hits since moving to the top of the Democratic Party's ticket. Rogan predicted she may not hold up as well in a debate with the off-the-cuff Trump. That is what he said before the debate happened. Then the debate happened, and you just heard what his commentary was about that.
So I'm about to get to my major declaration.
Go, Cenk.
Okay, but first, she's heavily coached. Of course, all the politicians are heavily coached, -1, and that's Donald Trump. He makes a good case for why you should be heavily coached, right? I don't know about heavily, but brother, take a little coaching. So when she mentioned rallies, she's baiting you, dum-dum. All right, so the major declaration about Joe Rogan. He's honest. And that makes a huge difference. So I got super frustrated about several things that he said. The comment about gay teachers is what set me off a long time ago. There's a bunch of things that he said that greatly frustrate me. No, I don't agree that ivermectin's a great, solution for COVID for human beings. But having said that, I'll take honest over dishonest every day, all day. So respect on that one. So he knows to some degree that his portions of his audience that are right wingers will get livid about this. Any criticism of Donald Trump, they're the most easily triggered people on planet Earth. They'll demand a safe space and they'll cry and cry and whine and whine. And he knows he's gonna get hit with a significant blast of that. And time again, whether we agree or disagree with him, he says his actual opinion. And that is super rare in American media. So I'll take it. So from now on, we got a disagreement, we'll fight over it, we'll battle, no problem. But I'll take him over the corporate stooges any day, and at least we're having an honest conversation.